We're back with another episode of Indie Comics Relay. My name is Keith Gleason. I'm the author of Mighty Mascots, and with me is my co-host, my good friend here, Johnny C. How's it going, Johnny?
What's up, everybody? How we going this week?
You're doing good, man. We already got a couple people in the chat. We got Roland in here tonight.
What's good, Roland? Thank you for joining us.
We got Ara. Hey, Ara. How's it going, man?
Good to see you, Ara.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Yeah, we have a great show tonight. We have our guest Phoebe Xavier joining us, who's got a Kickstarter going on. And before we bring her into the show, Johnny, what do you got going on? Anything new?
I'm slowly working on my Surrounded by Death Kickstarter that I'll eventually launch when I get the feeling is right.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
I'm hoping for November, but I think that might be a little bit too soon. And I think, I'm, gonna maybe see what happens with the stimulus plan. If that passes, everybody gets another paycheck, and people might have a little bit extra money to spend, I might launch it around then.
When is this? November, you're thinking?
I was hoping for November, but the way things are going, like economically, I don't know. So, I'm going to kind of keep it on the tentative back burner until I feel the time is right. I'm not in a rush. So it's not a matter of like, oh no, I have to get it done as soon as possible. It's like, no, the script for issue 3 is written. I'm outlining issue 4 right now. So we're ahead of the game. It's just a matter of recouping some, finances primarily for my artists, since I couldn't do conventions this year. So, a lot of it's just really kind of putting money in their pockets.
Yeah, definitely. I get that. I mean, it's tough though, when you get into November and December, it's kind of like, you getting into the holidays. It's almost like the same thing with conventions, like kind of don't want to throw one after like Thanksgiving, even though we know a certain person who does. Besides that, but we can.
That's like a contractual obligation. That's not even like a good time to do one.
Yeah, right.
Actually, there's one more shout out I wanted to do today. I have a short in Jack Holder's Kickstarter that was launched today. No, I'm sorry, yesterday, I believe.
Great Commandment, right?
The Great Commandment. Yeah. So I have a 4-page short story about Venus smashing into the Earth.
Oh,
in
cool.
this little religious anthology that belongs to Jack. So maybe we'll have Jack on sometime in the future. But just a big shout out to Jack for that. Thank you for having me in. And if you have a chance, go over and check out the Kickstarter and maybe donate to that.
Awesome. Yeah, and what was I going to say? This is also the last couple weeks for Mighty Mascots. I'm shutting it down in 2 weeks, on October 23rd. I'm going to knock it down.
Have you wound?
What's that?
I was going to say, has it kind of wound down now, or is it still kind of getting a little bit of?
Keep it open longer. The problem is I'm ready to start shipping. There's some perks in there for the early issues, like 1, 2, and 3, and the Giants. I'm ready to start shipping those. And what I'm afraid of is if I keep it open and I hit 20 grand and we open up that other stretch goal, I'm going to have to go back and send everybody like a second package with just that stretch goal. Mm-hmm. So it's either like I want to hit it before I close, or I want to close it and then just, I just don't want to be having to hang around, and then I'll use it for the next campaign or something, So that's why I'm kind of ending it.
How big of a gap is it?
What do you mean? Like, it's 20 grand. So I'm at 19.2, I think. 19. So if I hit 20 grand, it's possible I could hit that, by the end of the year. So, but anyways, enough about us.
Yeah, of course. We can go on forever about us, but that's not what tonight's about.
We can talk for hours, me and you. But anyways, let's bring in our guest tonight, who's her name is Phoebe Xavier. She's a writer, and she has a Kickstarter going on right now. So, good evening, Phoebe. How are you?
Hey,
welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody.
Nice to have you. I think Johnny who is it? Phoebe, you worked with somebody that
Philip Charles.
Yeah.
Philip Charles. Yeah, Phil couldn't do the show tonight, so he had you come in and sub for him. How are you guys related? Is he the what's that?
I think he's busy with his child tonight.
Right,
He's got the kiddos that he's looking after. Yeah. Hopefully we can have him on sometime in the future too. But big shout out to Phil.
Yes, no, is Phil like so? Whose project is this? Is this yours or Phil's?
I'm the the person who had the idea and the editor overall. Like he pitched two of his stories are actually in this book, and he had to pitch both of them to me, and I edited them and found the artist even. The artist is Juan Manuel Almaran from South America, and he is also an artist on a book called Moloch Reigning Devil. And so Philip is also the founder and the main moderator or whatever on a Facebook forum called about comic book anthologies, and I think that's probably where I interact with him the most.
And so that's great. So how many stories are this anthology?
7. In this book, there are 7 stories.
Nice. Yeah, let me share my screen. I want to bring it up here.
Now this is for 13th Moon, because I think I read a sample of that in the bundle you sent over, correct?
Yeah, 13th Moon is like the name of the book itself. On Kickstarter, it's listing as 13th Moon Halloween Anthology.
Yeah, here we go right here. Looks like you're almost halfway to your goal.
Yeah. Oh, I should have sent you. I got a really cool screen grab the other day. We hit exactly 666. I think Sunday night.
Yes, that's awesome. That first story is just wonderful about
Lucy,
the heavy metal like rock like underworld goddess that may or may not be the daughter of Satan. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. That was a lot of fun. Bayron was he mostly wrote it and drew it and colored it all himself. And he did a run on the letters, but then I went through and I redid the letters and redid the script a little bit. I got that never-ending story joke in there for him. I got another couple jokes added in there that I've just been writing comedy longer than Bayron has. And so I spiced up the script a little bit.
I love it. It gave me such Scott Pilgrim vibes on that particular story. Yeah, I loved it so much.
Between the band element and actually the artwork too.
A little bit.
Oh, his art is really like it could be. I could see it animated so easily. Like he has a very cool stylistic, cartoony art.
I was gonna say it would work great as like a Adult Swim like cartoon. Like if you ever were to adapt something or whatever, like that's really actually. So that's the other thing too, is I read a couple of the stories in this anthology, and each one of them almost felt like they'd be a great like Adult Swim like cartoon series kind of thing, you know?
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I think first of all, Adult Swim already had Lucy, Daughter of the Devil, which is like part of I made Bayron change the spelling of her name to not be so closely identifiable with that.
Right.
Trademark violation shit or whatever. That's the story that I wrote, what you have on the screen right now.
Okay. The
Escape Pod.
Escape Pod.
Yeah, I wrote that one.
Okay.
But and thank you. Yeah. Do you watch? Have you seen it on FX? The show Cake.
I'm familiar. I haven't actually sat down and watched it all the way through, but I've caught a couple of segments, so I kind of get the idea. It's a little bit like Cryptane. I don't know if you ever saw Cryptane.
It's like old school liquid television to a degree, but with a little more like live acting. So it's also reminiscent of Adult Swim.
Right.
And I think some of our stuff might go good on their show too.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely got that vibe. And now that you say liquid television, I definitely did watch a lot of that back in the day, and I got a lot of vibe from 13th Moon off of that as well. So that story right there, particularly as well. I believe that's Inexorable.
Inexorable, right? Yeah. Inexorable.
Yeah. Oh, that was a wonderful story.
I like that one too. I like the twist in it, because you think it's going one way, and then all of a sudden it like pulls the rug out from under you. which I thought was really cool. You know?
Yeah. It's just like when he starts questioning things like, he tried to chew my leg off and, why isn't he dead? And then you're like, oh, I get it. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Awesome. Just a nice little, like, the way it, like, paces out is perfect.
Thank you.
Roland says liquid television. That's a deep cut. Yeah, definitely.
That is a deep cut.
Yeah. The head.
Hey,
what was
liquid
the other
television
one?
gave us some of the best indie stuff back in the day.
And
I'm thinking of the other thing. No, the liquid television was not the head in Max. That was something else, right?
That was something else. So,
that appeared. No, the Max definitely appeared on liquid television. Yeah.
I thought that was Oddities.
It may have also,
that's what it was.
It may have also appeared there.
Liquid television had Aeon Flux and then all the other weird like animation.
Fabulous Freak Brothers, maybe, I think.
Yeah, Fabulous Freak Brothers. And what's that other guy? Plimpton?
Yes. Yeah.
Plimpton, right? Yeah, I love his stuff. Yeah, I love his stuff.
That's right.
Sequences. Yeah.
So yeah, I like this Halloween anthology. It's a great idea. This is one of the ones that we haven't seen yet. That we for those watching, we got a Phoebe sent me and Johnny like a PDF of like a couple of the stories. What's this one about?
That one isn't in there. That one is actually one of Philip's ones. Philip Charles, I know, is his name on Facebook, but Philip Butehorn is his name as a writer, and I think in life or whatever. But he is the writer of this one and a story called Patient Zero. And this one is really cool. It kind of like, it's a dude on a train and like becomes quick early on that like it's a possessed train or something. And they're like trying to get to hell. And if this demon, you see like the coming out of the guy's face or whatever.
Yeah.
So the human body and then the demon just kind of like hangs out of the side of his face throughout the whole story and like kind of tells him what to do. And it's them trying to get to hell to fulfill something that the demon wants to accomplish, that the human like thinks that it will redeem them or whatever, for their evils in life. And it also has an interesting ending. It doesn't necessarily go where either of those characters want it to.
Very cool. So actually Patient Zero was one of the other ones I read from the preview, and I didn't realize that was Phillips, but man, that's great too, because it was only one page, and like I was like, that was it. It's over. And it had such a wonderful twist. Like just it was great. I loved it.
Like 5 panels, I think.
Yeah, very simple, quick, to the point kind of story. It was great. Real great, good short form storytelling.
Thank you.
This one's kind of interesting. Just the word balloon says, "He ate my children. He ate them." I'm kind of intrigued.
That one, as I advertise it on the Kickstarter, it's like a werewolf story, and it's another 4-page one that does have an interesting enough twist at the end.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and your rewards are reasonably priced, which is nice. Like I see, like you can get in and get a digital copy for as low as $5, which is great. It's a great. What's that?
It's 52 pages, so 52 pages is not just like a comic book.
Yeah, for $5, that's really good. And even like
that is a bargain. Even myself.
Go ahead, Johnny. I'm sorry.
Sorry, my bad. I apologize. I was just gonna say, even myself as a creator that likes to back and support other creators, more often than not, I find myself going for the digital reward. Just mainly for the budgetary constraints of like being able to afford the hard copies. I mean, if they have a real nice bundle or something that catches my eye, I'll go a little bit more premium. But I always do like the digital, and it's the fact that you have such a really great price rate for that is awesome. It makes it very affordable. It's a very attractive offer for like another indie creator that's not only looking to boost their their Kickstarter numbers, but also just like to get another like really great graphic novel level book for only $5.
Yeah, definitely. I mean that right there is a great selling point. Even the physical one for $13 isn't bad for 52 pages for an indie project. It's actually
I
really
know
good.
I'm going to be going in at the hardcover copy, or the hard copy there.
What what are you charging for shipping on it?
I think $3 in the USA, and like
Yeah, that's not bad.
yeah.
Yeah,
$4.
so,
So the way I'm doing this is through Kablam and Indie Planet. That
okay.
they have a good deal for people that do Kickstarter, that they will ship it direct, so it doesn't have to come to me before it goes to you. They just ship it straight to you. There's only shipping once. Like
Oh wow, okay. So that actually saves you some time, huh? Like time and money. That's really cool, actually, because that's almost like you can use Kablam as a fulfillment center. Actually, that's actually really cool. Johnny, when you start yours, you might want to look into that.
I swear by Kablam, I swear by Indie Planet. Yeah, they're great people.
Yeah, I used to use Kablam a lot for my other stuff. I definitely do good work. So any other indie creators out there thinking of doing a project, Kablam does print on demand, which is very nice, and then they also have their indie store that they can sell your book out of, which is actually really good. And then this Kickstarter thing I think is new, because I don't know if they were doing that when I was getting.
Like at least a year. It's probably at least a year that they've had this service.
Really, that's really cool. Yeah, that's a game changer for small creators, because to have to ship the stuff yourself, that adds just a whole other level to it.
Oh, totally.
Adds more stress, and yeah,
logistics can be a real nightmare in that process, especially if you're successful, right? It's like that's the downside of any successful Kickstarter, is that, like, man, you hit your goal, you smashed it, but man, now going to ship like all these packages,
Yeah.
It looks like Roland has a question in the chat. He goes, will 13th Moon be square bound?
What is square bound? I don't even know what that means.
That means, like, have you ever seen like a prestige kind of format of a book where it's what's an example, Johnny? Could be like oh my god. If you've been in the comic store lately, the new Batman 3 Jokers is like a square bound book. It's like, it used to be called prestige format, where it has like a square binding almost.
Like that.
You mean like not having a staple?
Yeah, hey, let me bring Johnny bigger here. So
you mean like not having a staple, right?
Yes, yeah, it'd be more like what do you call it? Where it's not saddle stitch, but like oh, nice. I want to read that. Is that the book by Jeff Lemire, Johnny?
No, that's Bob's book.
That's Bob Sally's book. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's Bob's book.
All right, so yeah, I did believe.
So
yeah,
more like the trade paperback binding, I guess.
Yeah, it won't have a staple. It'll have like I guess if that means square bound, the fact that it'll have that. And 52 pages is not really a lot. I don't even get to print the title on it. That's
yeah, I don't know. Roland, I don't think Kablam does square bound. I think they will do it if you hit a certain page count where it qualifies more as a trade paperback, but that would probably be anywhere up above, like, I bet that would be over 75, 80 pages before they do that.
It's actually more about like the inches, and I guess how that relates to page, maybe in paper stock. But there's a certain amount of like 3/8 of an inch or whatever that you have to clear to get the title printed on the side. But they'll still bind it that way, without a staple, but with a single, I guess, a fold to it.
My Amy's Birdhouse is saying 66 pages would turn it into a square bound for Kablam, I guess.
Well,
yeah. So you're almost there. You're a little short, but almost there.
Also, the trade paperback thing, the definition of trade paperback had more to do with distribution years and years ago. And it's almost like a silly term. Like it would be synonymous with graphic novel insofar as how we perceive like a comic book that is more of a soft paperback.
Yeah, true. And I used to think about it as like, I think the term too was also so people would like trade it around with their friends, right? Like with their kids.
I don't think so, but I read up on it recently, and it was definitely about distribution. That as opposed to being in comic book stores, that trade paperbacks are also distributed more to book outlets. That like back in the day, there was a lot more variety than just Barnes and Noble.
Oh, okay. So maybe like the word trade is more like an industry thing, like industry trade kind of thing.
So Keith, I adhered to TPB the way you see it, because I would literally buy the series and read it on my own in the floppies, and then I'd buy the trade because I really love it, but I'd also use that as my like loaner copy. Like, oh, you got to read this, but you know what I mean? That way it's like, if it gets banged up, whatever, it's meant to be read, you know?
And the trade is not going to be worth anything. Yeah, definitely.
Well, actually, now these trades are becoming more valuable, so it's weird. It's like books that I traded off and like let people read that got banged up are like really valuable now, but they're so banged to shit that it's just like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, like if it's something that's got a high profile creator and it goes out of print, and you can't get it anymore, forget it. Like it shoots up to like ridiculous prices on Amazon and stuff. Like I was trying to they put a whole compendium together of every Quantum and Woody story that Christopher Priest did.
Okay.
And I was gonna pre-order it, but it was $100, and I'm like, that's so much money. And I was like, I'll just wait. I'll find it in the store. Stupid. Yeah. I didn't see it once in the store, and now you go look at it. It's like over $250, I think, to get one. You know.
Yeah, a certain someone bought me the whole Thunderbolts Volume 2 like run.
Yeah.
I think she spent like $100 on 4 like trade paperbacks, 4 or 5 trade paperbacks. You know what I mean? Like just because it's like they became so rare, you know. But even that's the crazy thing too, is that it doesn't have to be just the you know, the big guys with the TPBs that are becoming valuable. Even the indie artists that are producing trade paperbacks that are becoming rare or, you know, becoming more valuable too. That even ones with exclusive covers or retailer covers are becoming extremely valuable.
Oh yeah, especially if it's an indie creator that gets picked up by Marvel or something, you know, and then their indie work becomes like starts shooting through the roof. Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
My wife said that's what I get for being cheap. Yeah, you're right. Oh, cool. I didn't know this. Roland said that Gem Mint has YouTube dedicated to business of collecting trades. So that's cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, because I kind of keep an eye on that a little bit. But anyways, Phoebe, so we had stopped on this one, Escape Pod. Can you tell the viewers what this is the one you wrote, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and what's this one about?
It's like, okay, that one actually takes place in the universe that a lot of my fiction takes place in, and it's kind of the solar system 4.5 centuries from now. And I've written extensively about like how I see the sci-fi cyberpunk world would be at that point. And so so Soul Core, I think I mentioned in it, Soul Core is a recurrent thing, and it's like this one organization that runs the whole solar system in the future.
Okay. But sort of kind of like a Weyland Yutani type.
Yeah. But so it like Soul Core is the governing and enforcement law agency, but it's by the grace and approval of the 5 richest people that run corporations that Soul Core exists. Like, so there is like they're slightly divided, the corporation itself and the board of directors, let's say. The law enforcement corporation and the board of directors are slightly separated, but yeah, the world or the solar system is run by shitty.
Oh, cool. So you mentioned Soul Core. Now, I believe there was another comic that was in the sample pack you sent us called Trouble.
Yes.
that I believe, if I remember correctly, name dropped Soul Core as being somebody was a former Soul Core soldier. Is that correct?
Yeah, the star of that book, Tamika Kennedy, who is Trouble. She is she's a former Soul Core Marine.
Oh, so you built kind of like a nice little universe for yourself as well across a few books.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I have a short story collection actually that's being edited right now that has a bunch of those stories in it.
Oh wow, okay, so that's like the prose collection.
Yeah, narrative fiction. It'll be like maybe about 190 pages, I think, when we're done editing it. It's 19 stories, I think.
Oh wow, and it ties all into your universe. That's cool.
Very cool.
Not all of the stories in that book take place in the Soul Core universe, but like maybe 8 or 9 of them.
Oh, okay, so about half. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I feel like Keith, did you get a chance to read Trouble at all, or?
I skimmed it real quick because I was running out of time.
Yeah.
But I like the artwork a lot, and I started reading it. I'll probably go back and read it when I get a few minutes.
Yeah, so I got a lot of vibes from like a lot of like 80s comics, and particularly 80s anime was like
it
really
reminded me a lot of that too. I was trying to think of the one that there was an anime with these two girls that
Project Echo and Biko.
Yes.
Dude,
yeah.
it is so much like Project Echo. It blew my mind. I was reading. I'm like, this is Project Echo. This is awesome.
I don't know that one. I know that her armor at one point when she's like in the virtual reality is kind of based off Bubblegum Crisis.
Okay.
Which is more 90s anime. But
it's that same era though. It's the same era. It's the same kind of vibe and tone and like.
There was also another one called Dirty Pair. Do you remember that one, Johnny?
I don't remember that one actually.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of too a little bit.
I also got a feeling that this could definitely be like you know how like Tank Girl was definitely like the hero for like the 90s grunge girls. I feel like this character is very much like almost like a modernized Tank Girl for a certain group or niche of like female or young, not even female, but like young readers. You know what I mean? Like I very much feel like the way Tank Girl inspired a lot of people in the 90s and like the late 80s, early 90s. I feel like Trouble could do the same. It's of the same kind of variety, I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. It definitely had that. And then the other one you sent us was like about it was like a night or like a night for like the heaven or something like that.
Angel, yeah, basically.
Now that was written by Jeffrey Haas. Is that the same Jeffrey Haas that wrote Nightmare Patrol?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. I've actually done work for Jeff. I did lettering for some issues 3 and 4 of Nightmare Patrol.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's really cool. Like I was like, oh wow, we got that connection,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No, Jeff has been he actually so one of the other rewards in our Kickstarter is part of our digital bundle is the graphic novel of my first 4 issues of Sidereal Apogee bundled in a graphic novel kind of form. And the bonus story in there is also written by Jeffrey. He has a story coming up in Gunmetal Black Ops is one of our books. He, I think, is in issue number 3, has a story in there. And Malik, the book that I sent you guys, started in Gunmetal Black Ops number 1.
I noticed. Yeah, I noticed that when I was reading Malik. Is that it looked like it like there was some context or something from a previous story or a comic. So like again, that kind of alluded like, oh, this is part of a universe or this is kind of a bleed over from another story. One thing I did want to say about Malik though is page 22 is awesome. Absolutely badass, like awesome. I loved it. It reminded me a little bit of like I got like a Marv feel from Sin City, just in the tone of the character, and like the helmet just reminded me of Judge Dredd. And overall, it kind of like had that nice tone of that era of comics, and I loved that so much.
Yeah. We see Johnny. Have you ever met Jeff Haas? He's a local guy. He doesn't do as many conventions as us, but he's
in Rhode Island. He's up in New England.
Yeah, he's up in Rhode Island, and we see him. He does Plastic City, and he does some other smaller shows.
I might remember him by face, you know.
Yeah, he's a really nice kid, and he's always at the show with his father. I guess his father also helps him finance his comics and everything, so which is kind of cool, you know.
Very cool.
It's him
that rings a bell, actually.
It's him and Joey Lynn right now. He got married, and they got a house, and it's those two, as far as I know, running the show in his life. I don't know his father at all, but I've been working with Jeff at least a year and a half, and yeah, it's Joey Lynn Haas is his wife. She's a wonderful, beautiful lady.
Oh yeah, I've never met her, but I've seen her mentioned in a lot of posts whenever he like talks about the comic that we did and everything, you know. So that's very cool that you hooked up with him, because he's a good writer. He's like, you know, one of those talents that indie talents that's actually really good. And then I see the last story here is Dracula, Lord of the Future. Is that like a Dracula 2000 kind of thing?
I don't. Is that like a Marvel book? Did Marvel do that? I don't even know what that is.
Oh no, it was a horrible movie. Mackay Pfeiffer. Oh no, is that who it was?
I forget.
I don't know. It's like no, it was Omar Epps. It was Omar Epps. I just remember going to the movies with my friend, and we were watching the movie, and Omar Epps comes on the screen, and I think he was supposed to be like one of the guys, like Van Helsing's crew or something. And right two rows behind me, someone was like, Omar Epps. That's all I remember from the movie.
You know, it says something when like things that happen in the theater are more memorable than the things you see on the screen.
Yeah, it's so true.
I actually want to rewind a moment, actually. So, Phoebe, how did you get into comics? I'd love a little bit of your origin story, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, I read comics from a very early age. Once I was done with all my Dr. Seuss books or whatever, and knew how to read at the most basic level as a little tiny kid, my mom gave me a bunch of comic books from the 50s and 60s. And so yeah, she used to collect like Lois Lane and Lana Lang and Jimmy Olsen when they had their own little separate books. And she collected Tales from the Crypt and horror shit, but mostly Superman, Superboy, and the DC sort of shit. So yeah, I read that shit when I was really little. I was in a comic book store with my mom. It's in the late 80s, and as I'm shopping for my shit, she comes over to me with a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. I was like, hey, look at this looks kind of cool. And I was like, yeah, it does, but like I'd rather buy this X-Men shit or whatever. And yeah, so we didn't buy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but she definitely offered it to me, like the #1. We should pick this up. Should have invested in that.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah, so it goes.
So how did you make the jump from being more of a fan to actually writing and doing comics?
So I guess it's with, like I said, my short stories collection that I'm putting out. As I started to create that universe, the Citadel Apogee comic book takes place in, I think Soulcore, I mentioned, is like a central aspect to that universe. So as I started to create the narrative written form of it, I just had a lot of cool ideas, and I was like, this could be cool comic book stuff. And I started to put a team together, mostly through a Facebook forum group, hey, these 10 people or these 5 people are working on these ideas. And yeah, that was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And Serial Apogee number 5 will be out like within this week. The graphic novel of the first 4 is digitally one of the bundle, part of a bundle on the Kickstarter. And we have like 5, including 13th Moon, we have 5 titles going right now. So like,
It's a lot.
Yeah, you're busy. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a lot of work too.
It is.
Yeah.
So how many books do you put out a year? Would you say like 5?
Yeah, if I'm lucky, like 4 or 5. Yeah, but
Wow.
My team is amazing, and they're from all over the planet, and we work at a slow pace because of like I can only pay people so much each month or whatever. Yeah, we work at that indie pace of like, yes, over the next year we're going to do 20 pages, and like I'm sure at Marvel that shit gets done like in 2 months or something, or like 5 weeks. I don't know, depending on our team. But yeah,
well, they cracked the whip over there though.
Yeah, it's probably, it could be a hostile work environment. I'm not sure.
Probably.
Never worked there.
Amy's Birdhouse is asking if you still have any of your comics from the 50s.
Oh, no, actually, so whatever my mom let me read when I was little, probably got passed to other siblings.
That's usually the story, or got thrown out.
Yeah.
No one could have predicted that Ninja Turtles would actually catch on. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the look of it, and it was a parody. And it was a parody.
I think the art was good. I think the art was good from the jump. I think Eastman and Laird had an awesome product the whole time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I also think the CBS executives had like a straight line to like indie comics back during that era. Because a lot of like comic books like that were indie books at that time that were, fairly popular were going right to animated series, whether they made it or not.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of that going on. So this Kickstarter is great. Did you have anything that you wanted, like, do you have a pitch that you usually give people, like when you talk about the Kickstarter?
About this book? Yeah, no, just that it is a Halloween anthology with like a very diverse art team from around the world, and it's got awesome. It's good. Go buy it. I don't know. I've been drinking. That's it.
Well, I will say it's reasonably priced, and if you like horror stuff, everything seemed to have a horror bent to it, which was good.
Yeah, it's a Halloween anthology. It's appropriate for October.
Yeah, definitely.
I can endorse every story I've read out of it so far. It's really good, very clever, beautiful art in each one. Very unique and very, very indie. Like, if you like indie comics, this book is just a no-brainer to buy.
Yeah,
we priced it at 13 with the title of 13, like kind of like branding gimmick, and it's working. A lot of people are buying it at the physical copy for $13.
That's a good idea, because I didn't make that connection right away. But Friday the 13th, and yep,
perfect.
I like that. And what the name 13th Moon? What is that mean anything, or is that?
Well, in every year there's actually 13 full moons on average. 13.025 or something is the specific full decimal of it or whatever. But yeah, about 13 moons a year is what we actually get on Earth, and so yeah, it's kind of and the lucky, unlucky, or luckiness of the number 13.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Amy's Birdhouse is asking, what are you drinking? Please say pumpkin ale. This is the perfect month for Halloween.
I'm drinking Dale's Ale right now.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so this is great. What else was I going to say? So if where's a good place that the viewers like can find you? Is it like Twitter? Is it?
So yeah, to talk politics, I'm on Twitter at Aurora_Flox,
Okay.
PHLOX. But so to find our comic books, go to Indie Planet, and then you kind of gotta search by title, like Trouble or Moloch or Gunmetal Black Ops or Sidereal Apogee, SIDEREAL space APOGEE.
So they don't make it so you can search by your name or anything?
I mean, you can search by my name. One of the other things I was going to plug is if you type Phoebe Xavier and search Dust Horizons podcast, one of my short stories was turned into an audiobook or an audio short. Yeah. It's
So
called
now,
Sorry?
I was gonna say, if you go there, how much is it to get the audio book?
Oh, that's free. You can just listen to it for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's very cool.
I don't know about downloading it, but you can listen to it for free.
Nice. Did you
Awesome.
get anybody cool to narrate it?
So yeah, actually, I had nothing to do with that end of it. Who was the acting talent or whatever?
Yeah.
But the dude that they got to do it was really awesome.
Nice.
Nice.
That always makes a difference. Like, I have a few friends who are, prose authors, and both of them are actually, I would say, getting there. Like, they've got book deals with different publishers, and they've had like audio books made, with like legit actors, and and they always rave about the good jobs that they did narrating it. So
Awesome.
that's very cool. What were you gonna say?
No, it looks like Amy asked if repeat the podcast name.
Oh, it's Dust Horizons.
Dust Horizons.
Yeah.
Dust Horizons. Okay, perfect.
And my specific episode, I think it's the fourth one, the Halloween episode last year. The name of the story that I did was called Targeted Adverts, and I think the other story that goes with it, I think, was called Sanctity. But again, I've been drinking. I don't.
No worries. We'll have to look it up.
Here we go. Dust Horizons podcast. Let me see if I can put it in the chat here. Podcast. Does Sci-Fi Wire have something to do with it?
I'm not sure. But the article, they did do an article on that. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, we were featured on Wired for that. Yeah, no, that is a YouTube channel, Dust, and they do like a 10-minute to 20-minute sci-fi short on YouTube like every fucking week. They're incredible. And me personally, I think most of them are awesome. Like 98% of them are awesome.
Oh, look! Oh, here we go. Dust Horizons podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. I'll definitely. Let me see if I can add.
So, Phoebe, do you have any projects beyond what you kind of have going right now? Is there anything in the pipeline that you wanted to tease or promote?
So we are going to hopefully follow through all the way through on this 13th Moon as our Halloween book, but we also have a Christmas book coming out by Jeffrey Haas called Santa Claus, which is a little boy who gets in a sleigh, so to speak, with a Santa figure, and Santa turns out to be a little more sinister than Saint Nicholas, and goes to a pretty sinister version of the North Pole, and that book will come out over 2 years. That will be 2020 will be issue 1, and then Christmas of 2021 will be issue 2. So yeah, we are going to hone in on those holidays a little bit and get Halloween and Christmas have themed books on both of those holidays. And then after that, Trouble number 2 is in the works. Moloch number 2 is in the works. Gunmetal Black Ops number 2 and number 3 are in the works.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Sidereal Apogee.
You're very busy.
Yeah, you're a busy gal, man. Let me tell you.
I am. And I also work at a restaurant because that's what I got to pay the bills and shit. But
Yeah. We all do. So.
Yeah. And so Siberia Apogee number 5 is about to drop this week, but 6 and 7 are also in the works.
Oh wow. Awesome. No, is this the site? I want to make sure I got the right site. Is this YouTube?
That's it.
That's it, right?
Yeah, they're really awesome. They like I said, they made a short story or an audio short out of my one short story.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, perfect. I shared the link in the chat. So, and the name of yours was what again? What was the two?
It was Targeted Adverts and Sanctity, I think is the name. I'm not on that. I'm on their podcast, which is Dust Horizons. I don't have any film. I think.
Oh, okay. So it's not on this. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It's on their audio podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm envious of their subscribers.
Yeah. They're really, really cool people. I think they also have a horror one too.
Very cool.
A horror.
Okay, so they can get that on like Apple's and iTunes, wherever you get podcasts. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Yeah, awesome.
I was just gonna say, should we ask to see if there's any questions from the audience?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Let me see if there's mostly been comments, but let me.
In the meantime, I'll actually throw one out there. Phoebe, what inspires you, and like, what are you watching on TV currently, or movies, or what are you consuming currently?
All right. Yeah. I do get inspired by a lot of what I watch and what I read. Right now tonight before I came on the show, I watched Next. I don't know if you've seen the first episode or two of Next.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it yet. Did you like it?
It was on FX, right?
It's very good. I think it's on Fox.
It's on Fox, that's right.
Yeah, and but it's a really, really good show. It's very, very cyberpunk. It reminded me of a novel I read a couple years ago. And that's a good show. What else am I watching? Of course, the new Archer. After we get off of this podcast, I'll go watch the new Archer. Star Trek Lower Decks was really good, but that just came to a close. Basically, because of COVID shit, we're missing out on a strong fall season right now. But recently, Doom Patrol, we just got like cheated of a full season because they ended on episode 9 because of COVID. But that is the best show right now as far as a comic adaptation on television is Doom Patrol. And if you haven't watched it yet, go watch the first 2 seasons. Doom Patrol is amazing.
I liked Doom Patrol as well. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and it sucks that we didn't really get a season finale of season 2. They stopped at episode 9 because that's when they stopped filming. But
that was a good cutoff point story-wise, though. It wasn't a good finale, but it was kind of a good cut it off right there.
I think they have a whole other episode that completes the story. Yeah, I think that they didn't end the story properly there. But what else am I really watching right now? Not much. I think that's it. Next is the new one that I picked up. Archer is obviously awesome. But there's nothing like that right now, at least, that I got to run home to watch.
Right on.
The recent Lucifer is season that dropped, the half season that dropped. That was really good. If people haven't watched that yet, I don't know. Yeah, and I blog about TV and shit, but there's nothing on right now.
Yeah.
I'm catching up on old stuff because I'm so behind on things.
The only guy in Bob's Burger are back. New episodes of that shit.
A lot of this stuff is on streaming now that people are kind of like the buzzworthy TV. It's like whether it's The Boys or
The Boys, we're almost through that season. You're right. I'm watching that right now. But that's about to end soon. But yeah, The Boys is fucking ill.
Yeah, and then I just started Utopia on Prime as well, and that first episode was actually really good. It's comic related, which I didn't really expect. So really? Parts of the first episode take place at a Comic-Con, and somebody's dealing in original art pages, and I'm like, this show's speaking my language a little bit too much.
Well, to us, a lot of us, that's our Utopia, right?
Yeah, it has a nice little sci-fi slant, halfway through, but it very much deals with our comic world environment, including going to conventions.
Here's a question: what's your favorite horror Halloween entertainment movie or show?
My favorite Halloween thing. All right. So overall, like probably Tales from the Crypt and things in that vein.
Yeah, I love Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. Well, that would explain the anthology angle, right?
Yeah. I think in recent years, I think Black Mirror has done a really awesome job of bridging the gap or establishing in a commercial popular sense, like the sci-fi and horror element, that is a real a permanent space.
Modernized.
It is really good. Yeah, it's and it's not the traditional like supernatural shit, but like there's a lot of horror going on in sci-fi if you do it right.
Yeah, I like that too.
And but I had one. I forget where we're at right now.
It's all good.
Well, I guess that's a good place where we could start wrapping up here. So we let me just show the Kickstarter one more time here.
13th Moon.
13th Moon.
I'm going to definitely scoop 13. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to do it right now because I really love the preview that you sent over. Thank you for providing that, by the way. It was really awesome to kind of read a little bit of your material before getting the chance to talk to you in person tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, and everybody out there that's watching this or will watch this later, definitely check it out. They're about half or a little over halfway there, right? Wait, no, a little under, but almost. I'd say almost 50% there. Got 23 days to go, and you can get in on this Kickstarter for as low as $5 digital for 52 pages. That's like amazing. And if you love indie artists and you love indie writers, this is a good project to support. You get 7 different stories. They're all Halloween based. And this is going to come out when, Phoebe? When will they get this?
So to be honest, I'm still finishing the letters on the Dracula story. But it will be done before the project is done. So it'll go out almost immediately. And like I said, with Indie Planet, it'll deliver like Indie Planet slash Kablam. If you didn't know, they're the same company. See people that they'll print it there and then send it to directly to all the backers. So
okay, so you'll probably sometime in November, maybe?
Yeah, November to early December. I can't predict how slow the mail will be moving at that point, but yeah, November or December, the physical copy will be in people's hands.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely. So if you guys are in the Halloween spirit and you're looking for horror stuff, horror is great all year round. I mean, I love horror movies, so. We actually just got Shudder, so I can't wait to dive into some of the stuff.
Shudder has a really good version of Creepshow. They did a season of Creepshow that is really good.
I want to check that out.
Skip the Critters TV series. That was bad.
Was it awful? Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. It was so bad.
With that whole series, I can only really take number 1 anyway. So
yeah, it's true.
But anyways, yeah, we watched a movie on there called Haunt that was really good. Have you seen that? Have you guys seen that one?
I've not seen them. No, I've not.
It's basically like.
So if talking of other horror stuff that I'm enjoying at the moment, I like Into the Dark. I think it might be a Hulu show, but I've enjoyed a number of those episodes.
Is that an anthology show? I've never heard of that one.
It's an anthology horror, and it is based on different holidays that like each episode has a connection to a holiday. Yeah.
Very cool.
The one that I would recommend like off the jump is My Valentine, and it introduced me to an underground pop singer kind of Dressage that I listen to her all the time now because of that.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. But it is a good show overall, and some of it delves into supernatural, but a lot of it is just raw, like realism horror.
Cool.
Okay. Awesome. We got horror fans out there. So, and also I wanted to say anybody out there in the horror mood to check out Robert Geronimo's Wirehead, which just went live yesterday, I believe. Robert was on our show like about a month ago, and he's a very cool guy. If you like slasher movies, that one just went live yesterday, so check that one out.
Nice.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up. Johnny, do you have anything that you want to throw out there?
Nope. Just if you're gonna talk movies and horror movies, make sure to swing on through Movie Preview Show on Twitter and Facebook for movie chats and whatnot. We actually have all the Marvel details that are coming out now for the Spider-Man 3 castings and the Doctor Strange 2 castings that are happening. So keep your eyes peeled there for some scoops and some news.
On that note, before we move on to something else, is it true they're bringing back the Jamie Foxx Electro?
Yes. Yes. So the things they're doing so I'm going to put my movie preview hat on for a moment real quick. The things that they're doing behind the scenes at Marvel and the things that they're talking about and entertaining for Doctor Strange 2 and for Spider-Man 3, or what's kind of going to be like what I like to call, quote unquote, Into the Spider-Verse Part 2. There's a rumor out there that they're saying that they have allegedly confirmed Tobey and Andrew Garfield to come back and reprise their version of Spider-Man, and they're going to bring all of them together. So that's real exciting news for Marvel fans and Spider-Man fans. And then we heard specifically here at Movie Preview that Kevin Feige is actually going as far as to potentially be trying to get the Flash to come in to Doctor Strange somehow, like in the multiverse, like strictly as a cameo, but like to come in as like a brief thing to connect the two universes slightly. So it'll kind of be like when you were watching Predator 2 back in the day and you saw the alien skull in the background, really just like a nod and a nugget to potentially fire up the fans.
Oh, really? Like kind of like the Flashpoint or something, or.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Phoebe?
That's an Easter egg for like future amalgam universe shit.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. Why not? Why not? If you can work out the deals and like make that happen, fans would love that. I mean,
absolutely.
How was it when like Freddy and Jason fought? I mean, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yep. So, or even
Jason,
like
Jason 9. Jason Goes to Hell when Freddy pulls down the mask.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That set everything in motion.
Yeah, just like Predator 2,
Yep, exactly.
But all right, well, that's great. Thanks everybody. Phoebe, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Phoebe, for coming and joining us tonight, taking time out of your
appreciate it. This Kickstarter looks great, so definitely back it. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. I think I know we have a guest book, but I can't remember his name off the hand. But we'll be back in 2 weeks with a new show and new stuff to promote and more stuff to talk about, more indie comics, so.
Absolutely.
So, all right, everybody, you have a good night and we'll see you on the next one.
Good night, everybody.